Today I'm going to show you how to install one of our sound block door seal kits. We're actually going to do three things in the video today. First, I'm going to show you what the kits look like and how they work. And then I'm going to show you how to install them. And then finally, I'll give you some quick tips for some things people sometimes run into during the install. If you like the video, give us a like. And then the Sound Lock Door Seal Kit is available on our website, secondskinaudio.com, as well as a whole bunch of other products you can use to soundproof a home, a car, or any commercial space. Let's start by looking at the situation where you might want to actually use a Sound Lock Door Seal Kit. A door seal kit should only be used on a solid core door. Hollow core doors, doors with a louver, or doors with thin glass windows just don't block sound very well and are a bad starting point for soundproofing. What comes in the kit is 3 jam seals, 2 are long and 1 is short, and then you also have a bottom seal for the bottom of the door, and then screws to screw it into the jams. The door jam seals have an aluminum casing with rubber gasketing. These holes are used to screw the jam seals to the jam itself, and then these other screws are used to adjust the rubber gasketing so that it can form to the contours of the door. The bottom seal is the same aluminum casing, but the rubber gasketing actually comes out with a different mechanism. This isn't the actuator screw, and when it is forced inwards, the gasketing actually comes out down in teeter-totter motion. So the teeter-totter comes down on one side and then self-levels with the other. And so this will allow the bottom jam seal to completely seal up the bottom of the door, even if the floor is not level or slanted. The number one mistake that people make when they're installing this door seal kit is that they install the bottom jam seal too high off of the ground. It's really only supposed to be about 3/8 of an inch off the ground and no more than 1/2 an inch off the ground. Otherwise, the teeter-totter motion is not able to completely seal the bottom's part of the door. All right, so you got your kit here. These kits are really awesome because if you install it correctly, the door itself is actually going to be the weak point, not the gaps around it. You're going to have a soundproof door and you won't have to spend thousands of dollars like it would cost if you were to buy a true acoustic door. To install the Sound Lock Door Seal Kit, you're actually going to need a handful of tools outside of the kit itself. You're going to need a miter saw to cut the metal casing, and then the saw itself, you can't use a wood blade. We recommend a carbide tip blade. If you use a wood blade, it's going to break after a handful of cuts. You've got a square pin to mark on the metal with. The silver streak works really well. Protective eyewear, measuring tape, pen and paper so you can write down your measurements. And then you'll also need a screwdriver, some scissors, a drill, and then a flashlight so that you can test your door after you finish installing it. Start by measuring the jam on the hinge side. Right, now measure the latch side. Always write down the height for each side of the jam. Sometimes they're different. And then, as always, measure twice, cut once. Right, measure the jam, make your mark. Set the rubber side against the backstop and get ready to make a 90-degree cut. Always wear protective eyewear because the end of this can fly when it gets cut. Pull the rubber back into the channel. Hold the jam seal up to the door and check for fit. You should do this part with the door closed. Start with the middle hole and start adding your screws. Drill and screw in all of the remaining holes. Most jams are going to be flat, but sometimes you run into like a half jam where there'll be a curved surface for the door jam seal to lie against. In these situations, you're going to want to remove the half jam, or you may want to use something like a little plastic spacer to ensure that you can keep a straight right angle on the install. All right, now you're going to repeat the same process on the other jam. All right, now measure between the 2 jam seals. Cut the top seal with a pair of scissors with about 1/8 of an inch out the side. And then pull the rubber into the metal frame. The middle seal should fit tightly between the two gasket seals. Next, you'll be adjusting the rubber gaskets to make sure that you're putting positive pressure on the door. If you can fit a sheet of paper in and it holds the paper up, it's tight enough. And work it your way up and down. Make sure that you're tight up against the door. Make small quarter clockwise turns to adjust the rubber gaskets, and then test again with your paper. Once you've made all your adjustments, test opening and shutting the door. Measure the bottom of your door between your two door jamb seals. The actuator screw should be on the opposite side of the cut that you make. Before cutting the bottom seal, pull back the rubber gasketing and hold it away from the blade. If you're having trouble getting the rubber gasketing back into the bottom seal, a little soap and warm water makes it much easier to reattach it. Cut the rubber gasketing with about 1/8 of an inch on the side of the bottom seal. Screw the actuator screw in clockwise until it's flush with the side of the bottom seal. Keep the bottom door seal off the ground with a small spacer. The ideal thickness for a spacer is about 3/8 of an inch thick. If you have it lower than that, the door seal will rub on the floor. And if you have it more than 1/2 inch, the bottom seal will not shut all the way, and so your door will not be soundproof. Place the bottom seal on top of the two spacers, and then screw in the middle screw first. Don't over tighten or the bottom seal won't drop correctly. Make quarter turns counterclockwise on the actuator screw, and then after each quarter turn, open and shut the door to make sure that the bottom seal is dropping the amount that you want it to drop. The actuator screw on the hinge side, as the door shuts, gets forced in, and then that forces the bottom seal down. You can use a flashlight to check the bottom seal and make sure that you're completely sealed up. Not only is your door soundproof, it's also really easy to open and only sealed up when it's closed.